I've been making the same mistake over and over again where I keep coming back to Vold for other tasks, and I keep not going back to that doctor from the very, very first base on the other side of the map to actually tell them, like, hey, take care of those medical caches. Like, probably 30 episodes ago. Keep forgetting to tell you. Is that a new quest? How can there still be new things here? We're so far along. Who is it? Where are they? Where are they hiding? Hana.
I couldn't help it over here.
Oh, now you've gone and involved Ryder in this madness.
Brother, I know Michelle's still alive.
I understand it's difficult to admit someone you care about is gone.
Why has everyone given up? We destroyed Aket's weapon depot, but the detonators failed. Michelle had to set off the explosives by hand.
It put her in the middle of a blast they saw from over the hills.
But Michelle knows demolition like no one else. She knows the safest place to hide.
If your friend is as skilled as you say, it's possible she survived.
Thank you. I've been shouting for so long and no one has listened but you.
Even if I believed you, Anyek won't allow us to go out there. We're needed elsewhere.
If I'm out there, I could survey the area.
Would you? Sky blessed. I've got the nav point. I hope the data's compatible with your, gadget. Whatever you find, please tell me. I just want the truth.
We can't possibly investigate what happened to our loved ones. We're so needed elsewhere, which is why we're going to be standing right here when you're done with this mission, having not moved an inch. Other characters have been able to move before, so that's what makes it slightly weird when someone doesn't move, but I'm betting they won't. That is a very strong reflection. Hey, doctor from a long time ago. Bet you forgot about me.
3, 4, I think.
It's good to see you back. You saved lives today. We don't know who or how many, but you did. I set something aside for you from our latest shipment. For your help.
A reward wasn't necessary.
It is. Trust me. It's dangerous out there. Everyone relies on their gear to get them home. Applies to you too. Oh, and Yetta, the fighter you found, managed to make her way back. She's stable and recuperating, thanks to you.
More like no thanks to you, asshole, who didn't bother to pick her up in your freaking rover that could just speed across this entire map in a matter of minutes. No, she had to patch herself up by hand and then crawl across a frozen wasteland to make it back to HQ. In both this case and that one mission where we just abandoned that one girl in her weird murder house where everyone was being eaten. I'm like, no, you can't just leave them. That's horrifying. But we do. Because we're kind of horrifying, as it turns out. Well, both of these characters should have their loyalty stuff done. Yep, so we can go ahead and buy what we want here. Defensive expert. Health threshold 10. When a veteran is near death, power armor immediately recharges. Requires power armor. Also increases veteran's maximum health and shields. It's immediately recharged. That just means that its cooldown goes away, I assume? Health threshold 10%, are you joking? Unless it auto-activates with such immediacy that it prevents death, like, 10% health's nothing. One shot can take out, like, half your health in this game, practically, so, like, it wouldn't have time to do anything at that low with health threshold. I don't trust it. Vetra and her nearby allies regain some shields whenever Vetra takes down an enemy. That's gonna be more effective, most likely, I think. I don't trust the other one at all. Power armor. When power armor ends, electrical explosion stuns nearby enemies and primes them for combo detonations. I like that. It requires turbocharge. Activating power armor instantly recharges turbocharge. Is turbocharge one of these guys? What is turbocharge? Oh, that one. Right. Well, I already have that, so that's good. So, If they activate power charged, it immediately recharges turbocharge. And turbocharge is the one where her weapon gets more effective, more firing rate and power. She does not need to reload, and they can go through cover with less damage, which is a neat setup. So having that auto activate's not the worst idea if it makes her more effective in general, assuming the AI adapts properly to actually using it. Whereas this one is a presumably 3 meter radius explosion, looks like. Yeah, I don't know about that. I like the idea of priming people for detonations automatically, but I don't know how often she's going to be within that range for it to happen. Whereas this would happen all the time. So it seems best to go for things that are actually going to occur. Let's see, we can go for weapon stability. So it's stability, accuracy, and penetration damage, or gun damage and force. Let's see. Decreased penalty for penetrating shots could probably be pretty good too. Because it starts out at 50%, so that would mean that they'd only have, what, like a 25% damage reduction from shooting through cover, which pretty much means the cover doesn't exist for her. That gives her a utility that my character doesn't usually have. And then Jal just did his loyalty mission, so he can max out his stats now. Give him more power... Let's see. Jal deals more power damage for a short time after taking down an enemy. Jal deals more rifle damage after using a power. Well, I don't know how often Jal successfully takes out an enemy, but he should presumably use powers all the time, so that's probably a decent boost to weapon damage. Especially since if he takes down an enemy, then and there's only a 5-second cooldown, like, I mean, if the buff lasts 5 seconds, I can't help but think that, like, he might have used a power to take down the enemy, which means the power's on cooldown, which means he won't have a chance to use another power, potentially, depending on what his cooldown situation is, which could defeat the purpose of having that bonus, but guns are always available, is my logic here. And he can only buy stuff at 6-point intervals now, because everything's waiting for the loyalty mission tier. There we go. How about you, Ryder? Max out sniper rifles if I want to, or combat fitness. Let's see, this is weapon weight capacity. This is weapon spare ammo clip size and combat power cell capacities. Don't care about combat powers, because I don't use them. Weapon clip size, I don't really have ammo constraints too often, especially so with my penchant for spamming powers or using one-shot weapons. But this one gives me 25% weight capacity, which means I probably will have better cooldowns for my attacks. Dramatically increases damage resistance when below 30% health. I don't know, that damage reduction when you're already at low health always feels really minor unless it's a gargantuan percentage. Fortunately, I don't know how much 200 resistance is. That's not a percentage, so I don't know what it means. But whenever it triggers, I'm already at 300%. I mean 30%. That said, my shield can regenerate while still being at 30% health, which means I could still have damage reduction while having shield. Improves damage resist and reduces shield regeneration with delay while in cover. So it just makes cover better, generally. By a decent margin, too. I think I like that idea. Having taken cover have a better impact on my shield regeneration. I like that a bit more than the percentage-based stuff. We're going to be done with sniper rifles soon, at which point I guess I would probably be going into... what would I do at that point? When I finish sniper rifles, I might start going into like assault rifles or something like that. I don't know if I'd want to go into skills, because these are all going to have low stats. This is temporary energy barricade. I don't know if I want to buy into any of the combat skills over the ones I already have. I think I'd rather stick with my active abilities all being biotic. So the next thing to do is more passives, I suppose. But yeah, definitely running out of things I care about on the on Ryder's skill tree at the... Whoa! Look at me getting those upgrades. Alright, let's find this missing person.
We've got targets!
That's kit technology, Ryder. Well, they can
Manual
go and do
says
their
the
thing.
Nomad's good for all weather conditions, but they did those tests in the Milky Way.
Pathfinder, a remnant site is ahead. Defense systems may be active.
Oh, I tried to stop so that we could hear the rest of her dialogue, and it seemed to still get cut off. Oh well. Here's the explosion site.
Pathfinder, we are approaching the Kett weapons depot, destroyed by the Resistance.
Good to know. We'll search for any sign of Hana's friend.
It's a weird visual. That almost firing weapon.
Life sign, Sam?
Nothing. However, I do detect a faint energy signature from what could be a generator.
Backup power, possibly.
Found the entrance. Or what was once the entrance.
I'm screaming and on fire. Ah! That was awkward. Whoops.
It's a ruin. No one survived here.
You're gonna look really silly. Oh, that was their
Something
name.
over there. Maybe someone.
That was definitely the name of the person. You're gonna look really silly right now,
Know
Joel.
where they are. I know you know. Talk.
It's dead, of course.
If circuitry is intact, we could power it up and gain entrance.
Other way then.
Environmental temperatures are within acceptable limits. Life support is back online.
My objective is still to restore power, but if life support's on, doesn't that mean that power's on? Ah! I mean, that's not nice. That wasn't nice at all, game. That may not be a good sign. Hey, how did I restore life support if power's still off in here? Does the life support function via sheer force of will? I feel like I want to get through there, but I don't know if I can. Yes, I can. Just can't melee it. Bold E to hack.
Reconnected.
Sounds like she's interrogating someone in the other room.
Talk. Who are you? Are you here to find me? Did Hana send you? Foolish girl. She never knows when to give up.
Whoa, Hana was right and no one believed her.
I shouldn't have survived. Didn't think I would.
And this hurt. And this.
That's all it says. That's all it ever says. I've burned, I've peeled, I've gouged. It won't tell me where they are.
You tortured this person?
It's not a person, it's Kett. They took my family.
We need to leave this place. You're not thinking straight.
I can't leave. This is my only chance to talk to these things, to find my family. If I leave here, I leave them. I can't.
I'm sorry, but they're gone.
No!
You have friends waiting for you, people who still care. You'll die here.
How could you? It could have told me I could have found them again.
Go home, Michal.
Fine. I'll signal the base and inform the Resistance of my position.
Boy, oh boy. There's like a certain... I don't know what it is with Ryder. There's like a refusal to discuss things, more or less.
There can't be anyone in there.
Really, Vetra? You're gonna say that on our way out? There can't possibly be anyone in there, that place where we just found somebody. Something that's starting to bug me as these quests continue on is that they escalate super quickly. They go from 0 to like super severe, and like Ryder he's not really somebody who reasons with people and, like, has discussions with people about about how to handle a situation or how to proceed. Like, if the very first thing he says doesn't immediately convince people that they should do things his way, then he does something really drastic usually, because you're almost immediately faced with, like, a severe decision, and you have no additional attempt to reason with people. And it starts to get weird more and more when you just have really drastic things. Like, right there, I can either...
Reading a normal temperature range, Pathfinder.
I can either leave her to abandon someone to die. I can abandon her so that she sits here in a cold, dark cave, unknown to all of their friends, and just torture somebody forever to find information she'll probably never get. Or you can immediately shoot that person without reasoning with her at all, and now she's like, oh, the only chance is gone, and she hates you, and like this is the worst possible way to handle it. Like, I understand that they don't want to literally make them Shepherd and literally have, like, Paragon and Renegade bars that charge up, and then you get Paragon and Renegade choices and stuff like that. But, like, you don't have those... The results of removing those options was that you play a character who has 0 diplomacy. You don't have a charisma stat in this game. Like in most RPGs where there's, like, certain stats you can increase to make it so that you have more dialogue options. In this game, you never have additional dialogue options. It boils down to one thing, the other thing, or maybe want a bone? Like, there's a romance option weirdly often, but not nearly often enough. Is there any kind of diplomatic response, or any kind of thing where, like, oh, I've fulfilled requirements to get this special dialogue option, or my character specializes in this, or I've played them a certain way so they might be able to communicate with this person and make them see the error of their ways. Like, it's one. I don't think that it should always be available, because that can be unrealistic how often that stuff is used as a catch-all, solve every problem thing. But it feels like Ryder has the opposite problem, where it's like playing through the entirety of the Mass Effect series with the all colored text options completely deleted from the game, and only binary choices with no special caveats, and oftentimes no investigation choices. And so, like, they often put the time in to make a special location for a quest and a bunch of dialogue about the quest and the scenario for the quest, but the quest usually boils down to one choice that's just, boom, thrust upon you very abruptly. And oftentimes there's not really much explanation given for the time constraint. Like, it was really awkward, and I think, like, so many of us have already agreed, like, it was really unfortunate how awkward that whole AI quest was, about how just weirdly it seemed to be handled. But at least that had a, like, oh, this person's being killed right now, there's a time constraint, you have to, like, make a call right now in the moment, which actually almost makes it weird that it wasn't a QuickTime event like the many QuickTime events in this game. Because for some reason, main story decisions are QuickTime events, and loyalty mission decisions are QuickTime events, but decisions you make during side quests that are often much more severe are never QuickTime events, and they're always choice you make in the moment, even if they do have a timely element to them, like that time when the guy was being tortured and electrocuted to death, and for some reason we had infinite time for that decision. But I constantly have to make QuickTime event decisions when I make the decision that decides the fate of an entire planet, or even like when you finish an entire arc, like, do you want to shoot that? Do you want to spare that person or kill them? I don't know. Do you have 1 second to choose? Ah! That stuff's happening. I don't know, it's weird. It's weird how abruptly the decisions are thrust upon us in many of these quests, and it's weird how Ryder makes no attempt to find his own solutions. It makes him feel really not resourceful and weak-willed, which is kind of the opposite of what his entire character is supposed to be. As the Pathfinder, like, the fact that he's able to do all the stuff he does throughout the game means that he's the different kind of person than the character that we get during dialogue. Because during dialogue, he just accepts other people's ultimatums. Like, Shepard was strong-willed just as much as Ryder should be, because of what he's able to do by completely fixing entire planets and recruiting a bunch of people and doing all these crazy things he does. But when a big scenario comes up upon us, other people tell us what the ultimatum is, and we just accept those choices and pick one, as opposed to Shepard, which would make their own options in many cases and surprise people because they would innovate, or they would force their way towards one solution even when it didn't seem like it would work and stuff like that. Like, there was there was actually a stubbornness that you would expect from a protagonist of an adventure game or adventure movie or adventure show, like that. The shoot Greedo type thing, like there was some Han Solo stuff going on with Shepard, and Ryder is like, he plays like he is in the same boots as the player of the game, because as a player we have to accept the scenarios given to us by the game, but the protagonist often is able to create scenarios in a lot of good RPGs where the protagonist is a noteworthy presence in the story, and that makes it more interesting. But if our opponent or NPC or whatever character comes up mostly just gives us the options and we have to pick one of them, that doesn't really work as well.
Michelle just called in. Annick sent a squad to retrieve her. She seemed troubled, but I suppose being trapped in rubble will do that. I'm so happy she's still alive. Skies be bright for you, Ryder.
I'm not specifically levying all of this on this quest on its own, but it's just, I can't help but notice that it's a general feeling I'm starting to get over the course of basically midway through Kadara, and then a lot of the side quests we've done since the midpoint of Kadara, including, like, while we've been jumping through a bunch of different planets. Like, I'm getting this general vibe now of how Ryder's generally handled in this game, which, I mean, going up to 100 episodes of the series, I can get a pretty good idea of how this character's handled, and that seems to be a noteworthy difference, is that he's just this... He's strangely passive. He's not a Geralt, he's not a Shepard, he's not really most Western RPG protagonists that are often much more willing to improvise. Even a Bethesda NPC, Bethesda protagonist, like from the, especially Fallout 3 and especially New Vegas, like games where the protagonist has a bunch of options and often creates unexpected options and surprises the structure a bit. Because I've been playing D&D lately with Wander and Shell and Bird, and I'm so into the surprising things you can do when you're in the driver's seat of a character in a proper RPG scenario, and how cool it is to improvise solutions for stuff. And Morrowind has some of that, and you can trick the game a bit or do fun things, and that's the unfortunate thing about the choices and quest structure in this game in particular, more so than even... I feel like even Inquisition was better than this at times. Like, your character is just so weirdly passive that, like, you just accept what's given to you despite having a character that's built on the premise of not being like that. It's really weird. Anyway, I'm in the process of wrapping up random quests that are waiting around on planets for me. I think I finally finished Vold. I kept going to this planet over and over again and forgetting to do... Where's Buxil? Where are you? There is still someone around here. Where in the hell? You're helping you decrypt a password for the operation station. I'll try to find them. Gotta get back on track with this one.
Rebellions.
Okay, let's just put it out there. Yes, the Turians did deploy the Genophage against the Krogan. But that was a long time ago. I'm not interested in fighting the wars of my ancestors.
In a way, aren't the Krogan still fighting that war?
Im's right. Sometimes conversations with you are no fun.
Defense matrix component destroyed. I did that a long time ago when I was here last time. And took out this whole base already, actually.
Life support is stable.
A kind of strange thing to see pop up. Is that a turret? Is that the health bar I'm seeing? But there you are. Buxil's apparently here, hanging out in the base. Huh. That's what I get for warping out, I guess.
We tried to take down this place for months, and you made it look so easy. Destroying their command structure and systems leaves the rest of the Kep vulnerable. Remember Jarnik? The shield around it's come down.
The frozen city?
That's the one. This is the perfect opportunity for a final push. while they're still dealing with the chaos.
Tell me about this ancient city.
They say it was abandoned when the Scourge hit. The cold came and it was trapped in ice. The Ket learned we were investigating and took it. They think they can plunder it for remnant secrets. Let's hope they haven't completely destroyed everything.
I'll deal with it.
In the meantime, I'll see if there's anything I can find here. Be careful, Ryder.
Huh. I guess I completely missed her. So, and also that gave me a bonus experience and completed multiple quests. So that's neat. I guess when I take out the defensive matrix, she lands here and I'm supposed to talk to her. But I just continued with my mission because I've done, I mean, I don't know, what were they expecting players to do? At this point I've done like 3 of these before, and I've always just pushed forward and finished it off. There's never been like an NPC that shows up halfway through to be like, congratulations, let's touch base for a second and kind of do nothing. I guess maybe they thought that this one was a long one, so they'd offer to let her fly you out or something so you can resupply? Although what does resupplying mean in this game? Because you just need ammo and health, and that's like it. So like, I don't know why'd you want to quit midway through. It just would mean that you'd have to get back here, which would suck. Weird. Instead, it leads to a really weird context where, like, the dialogue assumes I'm still in the middle of clearing the Ket base and that I've never been to the frozen city that was opened up. And now that I've already cleared the frozen city and the Ket base, so none of the dialogue makes any sense, and they didn't check. It's another the long case of the long list of scripting error things. They just don't have like if or and or statements in their dialogue to trigger based on conditions of the player. Like, the basic shit we've done since the very beginning of Western RPGs, where the whole point of making decisions and doing things is that it affects the world around you. And, like, this game so actively doesn't do that, that many of its quests just completely fail to account for what you've done in the game, making it extra clear to the player just how little impact most of their decisions make, when its own universe can't even keep it straight what your actions were for more than 5 minutes. It's right up there with when I went to Eos and I took out those, not Eos, I was on Kadara, and I was dealing with members of the Roakar, and they were like, even with Axul dead, they will still go this far. I'm like, Axul's not dead. And then later on, I would then eventually get around to the mission where you could kill Axul, but I didn't kill him. So not only was that a spoiler for the future, it was a spoiler for an alternate universe future that doesn't even happen in my copy of the game, because I didn't kill Axul. But the game assumes I killed Axul, and will even spoil the concept of killing Axul long before I even am given a presentation of the concept of killing the Axul, much like how it spoiled Ungarans before I met an Ungaran, and spoiled Jal before I knew what an Ungaran was, and it already spoiled that Jal was a crew member before I even knew that what his race was. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's just the most finished game. It's amazing how finished it is. EA, I love how you, really care about your customers and will make sure projects are done completely to a standard that's good, that makes your name look good when you're willing to put your stamp on it and, like, put it out there. And it's not just a shameless, horribly shallow attempt to put a product out before fucking tax years end, because it's got to get out for the fiscal quarter as opposed to being a quality project. No big deal, it's just your most successful RPG franchise ever. But who cares about that? Just ruin its name and cancel it forever. Just like you do to all your franchises, just like you did to Dead Space, and just like you do to everything else. Great. Fine. On the bright side, we keep getting we keep getting new games from ex-BioWare employees that are often decent-ish, so maybe we'll get a lot more of those projects in the future after Mass Effect dies, because apparently that's where EA is going to take it. Please stop, I say, in an incredibly stupid, naive way, ignoring the last 15 years of history.